It is so cool to talk to you about today. These characters just pop off the screen. This season is so good. Uh,
Oh,
Griffin,
thank
start with
you.
you. Is Gabe like the best character to play because he just the character's just so amazing.
But Gabe is definitely up there amongst one of my favorite characters to play that I have played. He is just, evil and chaos personified. He is a huge, excuse my language, but he's a real jerk. He's a real nasty poop. And he's a meanie, which is not something I normally get to play. And it's also not something I get to do in my normal life. I'd have to compare it to, have you seen that trend recently of people going to like anger rooms where it's just like a
Yes.
room full of stuff you can break? This is like the acting equivalent of
Yeah.
like an anger room for me. I get to go on set and be as mean as I want and just like such a jerk. And it's completely justified. There's no other job on earth like that where you just go get to be mean for several hours a day and go home. Um,
As long as he turns
so
it
yes,
off
I
between
truly
takes.
do. Yeah, as long as I turn it off between takes.
Yeah.
Well, I love too that
But,
Gabe is.
yes.
It's hard to guess kind of what his motivations are. Sometimes, or sometimes that you're really questioning that.
Yeah, it's hard for me to know too. I don't get filled in on this, and he's not clear about what he wants.
Well, Hallea,
Very proud.
talk about Eden. I often wonder the exact same things. Like sometimes they're both very mercurial. Excuse my pronunciation there. But what's it like playing her?
Oh my gosh, the joy of my little life. She was so much. Our key word today is fun. We've been saying fun so many times that if we had a nickel for every single time, we'd be rich. Because it was just strictly just so much fun. She offered me as an actor the opportunity to really test myself and really push myself and challenge myself in so many ways. It wasn't just talking scenes or like whatever. It was physically demanding and emotionally demanding too in certain ways, because putting yourself as an actor into the shoes of somebody who's as crazy as Eden is a lot. But I just really loved, like, anytime, if at all I made like the crew laugh or something like that, I was like, I'm doing my job. And that was just like a joy to have fun and just be chaotic and call it work.
Well, I love the fact that, even as wild as she is also scared of Gabe. And even speaking to, one of my favorite scenes, it's just a weird little moment, but I love climbing out of the key house window. I thought was just the greatest scene.
Yeah, that was so much fun. That was one of my first days working with director Maraziamas. And we were practicing falling out of the window, and the stunt guy showed me one way, and I was like, I want to add a spin. And I just like kind of went for it. And she comes over and she's like, Clea, are you having a good time? And I'm like, I'm having the time of my life, Marazi. And she says, I effing thought so. And it was just like this highlight of the season, because it was just like, it's so silly. Like her sneaking around the house like that and then falling out of a freaking window, like only Eden would,
Well, Griffin, you both spend a lot of time in scenes together this season, especially the beginning of the season. What's Hallea like to work with? What are these scenes like when you guys are filming?
Turntables.
Oh man, where do I begin? She is a pleasure to work with. She, takes her job incredibly seriously, and it shows on screen. She's very passionate about the work we do. One of the most, how do I say this? Like meticulous preparation. Some of the most meticulous preparation I've ever seen. Like she'll think about things down to the amount of rings that she's wearing. How her character. She really gets in her character's headspace, which I appreciate and admire. Because I do not operate that way, but game recognized game, and it's really fun. Like Hallea, another thing I appreciate is she asks a lot of questions, which I think some people don't do too as much as they should. And it's great because questions start conversations, and then I start thinking about things, and then we both end up learning something.
I learned a lot from Griffin, seeing as he's been in the industry a lot longer than I have. I just it was really cool for me to just be alongside somebody who knows a lot more, but doesn't like flaunt it. There's like no pretentiousness coming out of this man over here. It was just pure like, I'm here to support you. I'm doing my job. You do your job. Trust yourself. Like, I think the biggest lesson I actually learned was a very vivid one where I was like, oh, like, did I do that thing right? And he was like, I'm not paying attention to like your job because you go trust yourself. And that taught me in that moment, I was like, oh, okay, I need to just like trust myself because no one's going to worry about it more than I need to. And I'm just going to do my thing. And so I learned a lot from him, and it was a great opportunity. Yeah.
Well,
he's not too bad.
Thank you both.
I'm not as scary as I look.
Thank you for your time as well.
Really a pleasure.
Thanks,
Thank
Andrew.
you.
It was nice talking to you.